I know it's not 1998 anymore, but this is the day that will forever change my life. This was the day that my mom committed suicide. Normally there's a negative reaction when people talk about my mom's last few years of being alive. She committed adultery, left her husband and 3 kids, and got into drugs and alcohol. But this was only a piece of her life, which was the result of her untold story. This video is to share her story and how it's affected my story and what lessons can be learned from it. My mom grew up in a dysfunctional household, to say the least. Her dad, my grandpa, had some problems. He sexually abused his children and had a gambling addiction. And when he could not afford his debts, he loaned out my mom to other men. She was raped, abused, and forced to do pornography. Her mom didn't help much either. In fact, her mom was the one who got her on birth control when she was only 9 years old. It's no wonder she suppressed the memories of her horrible childhood. Despite all of this, she still became a wonderful person. She was the most talented singer and artist, most loving and caring friend, wife, and mother. She always went out of her way to help others. She really had the kindest heart. But then I hit the same age she was when all these horrible things happened to her. Those repressed memories came flooding back. She turned to drugs, alcohol, and infidelity. She felt worthless, undeserving of love, to the point where she thought that the world would be better off without her. My grandparents' actions didn't just affect the first generation. It also affected my dad, my brother, my sister, myself, and countless other people. All of these people have stories, but those aren't mine to share. But to emphasize the consequences of one person's choices, I'll tell you parts of my story. I started therapy when I was only 7 years old. I had my first eating disorder when I was 13 and started slitting my wrists when I was 14. I was diagnosed with clinical depression shortly after that. I was only 7 years old when my mom left, 8 when she died. Growing up, I didn't understand. I blamed myself. How could my mom, the person who was supposed to love me the most, leave? How could anyone else love me if she couldn't? I had the belief that everyone who loved me would eventually leave, and subconsciously, I was drawn to relationships and friendships that proved me right. I am currently 24 years old, and I've received both my bachelor's and master's degree in social work. People frequently ask me why I social work. Why would I want to constantly be reminded of something so horrible in my life? I am a social worker to help stop the trend, to inform others that almost everything you do, every choice you make, good or bad, affects more than just yourself. My purpose in sharing this isn't for pity. My purpose in sharing this is so all of us can help stop the trend. Parents, love your kids. Dads, treat your daughters with respect. Treat yourself with respect. Nobody's a nobody. If you are struggling with depression or past trauma, get help now. There are people out there that love you, whether you believe they do or not. Think before you act. You might not think that your choices affect other people, but I promise you they do. Suicide is 100% preventable, but so is child abuse and the lack of kindness to others and ourselves. Get help, give help, and be kind to others and yourself always.